everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I want to start out the vlog for November because it is already the 2nd of November and so far reading is not a priority. I have been so sucked into The Sims lately, and honestly, as soon as this clip is filmed, I will probably go back to playing Sims. But what am I currently reading, you might ask? For my physical read, I'm reading This House is Haunted by John Boyne. I'm currently about a quarter of the way in and I am enjoying the beginning of this. This is definitely giving Bly Manor in a way. We have this young woman who in 1867 loses her father, and then she is kind of like lost in her grief, and so she accepts the position as a, what did they call that? A governess, and she goes to this country estate, and when she gets there, there's 2 creepy children and no other adults. So that sounds like fun. I stopped reading right when she gets there and the first like creepy things start happening, so I need to continue with this. Now, to cancel out the creepy a little bit, I have started a cozy audiobook and I'm currently reading Her Royal Spyness by Rhys Bowen. And this is a book that I'm reading for a separate reading vlog, so I will probably not talk a ton about it here. But I'm very excited about this one. It is really fun so far. I am probably about a third of the way through right now. And in this one, we follow a young woman in the 1930s in Britain. And she is the 34th position to get to the English throne. So she is kind of a royal, but without all the money and the fame, basically. And she tries to avoid the marriage that is planned for her with a Romanian prince that she really doesn't like. And so she is kind of trying to find her own life and way of living in London. Now, this is really funny so far. The tone reminds me a little bit of My Lady Jane, which is amazing. It's one of my favorite books. Also, the narrator really reminds me of that, and it's really fun. And we also have a roguish, penniless Irish love interest. So I'm here for it. Now, I thought this was a cozy mystery, but so far no crime has happened. So I'm intrigued to see when that will appear. But I'm pretty sure it is a mystery. So there should be something happening soon. So yeah, that's my reading so far. I am enjoying it, even though I am distracted by The Sims. And I'll update you when something interesting happens. So today is the 4th of November and I wanted to give you a quick reading update. My weekend has been taken over by The Sims again, but yeah, it's just an obsession right now. I just have to live through this, but still I got some reading done. I'm now 200 pages into This House is Haunted and I have 150 pages to read. This still gives me major Bly Manor vibes. Like, if you enjoyed the setup of this new governess, the creepy children, the family secrets and all of that, and I think you will enjoy this book as well. For me personally, sometimes I feel like it hinders my enjoyment a little bit because I just keep comparing it and I keep you know, just seeing which version I like better of that kind of story. But yeah, this is still entertaining. It definitely has a good creep factor and we have learned some of the secrets by now at a little bit more than halfway through. So yeah, I'm intrigued to keep reading this. My goal would be to finish this before next weekend so I can start with my actual November reading plans. we'll see how that goes. I do have a bit of a busy week ahead of me, and also, you know, just like the whole like US election thing and everything, it's just a bit stressful, so we'll see where it goes. But I can be hopeful for my reading. And then with my audiobook, Her Royal Spyness, I am also a little bit more than halfway through, and with this one I said I won't talk a lot about it here, and by the point this vlog will go up you will have already access to the other reading vlog that I'm reading this one for. But I am enjoying it. It is quite entertaining and I just really love the tone of the story, so I think I will probably finish that within the next like 2 days or so, which yeah, then again we can get into my actual like November reading plans. And like I'm excited but also a bit scared, because then we will enter the stage of the big fantasy books again. So today is the 7th of November. For me it is the day after learning about all of the election results in the US. I have already addressed this in my reading vlog where I read the historical cozy mysteries. So I don't want to go into depth here, but just know that I'm absolutely devastated, that I am horrified, that I'm scared, that I'm sad, depressed, grieving, and yeah, it's just not a fun time. It's not a fun time. So many people chose misogyny, hate, sexism, racism, and it is very discouraging. But we're here to talk about books. And I did finish a book yesterday. I finished my audiobook, Her Royal Spyness, which I talked in depth about that vlog that I just mentioned. So if you want to hear more thoughts, you can go and check that out. But to keep it short, I did enjoy this one. I gave it 3.5 stars. I think of the like older historical cozy mysteries, I think this one was quite fun. It didn't have too many problematic elements, and I think that it was kept in check a little bit, especially through the character of like our main character's grandfather, who was a working class person and could sometimes interject when something more problematic and privileged was said. So I think I would continue this series potentially. I had a good time. I would say if you want to go try it, try it. The person who was the perpetrator, it is a little bit debatable, because this person belonged to a marginalized group. I don't always love that, but I think because the motive in the end was just like money based, as you would guess from what's going on in the story, I think it's kind of okay. Like, I would have preferred it to go a different route, but it's okay. For my next audiobook, I'm going to start Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. This is going to be a long project because it's a very long audiobook, so this will probably take me the rest of the month. We'll see about that. I am intrigued to get into it. I don't really have a lot of like prior knowledge about this book. I think we're following a like historical England where magicians are like scientists or researchers for magic, but they don't actually do it. They don't actually know how to do it. And I think it is about a person, Jonathan Strange, who then shows up and actually does magic. That's all I know. And that may be wrong. But yeah, I'm intrigued to read this one. It's like one of those like almost modern classics, I would say, of the fantasy genre. And I will do a complete reading vlog for that one, so you will get the chance to hear all of my thoughts on it. And yeah, we'll see how the rest of this week and this month and this year will go. Let's just hope for the best. Today's the 10th of November and I do have a quick reading update. Yesterday I finished reading This House is Haunted by John Boyne. I decided to give this one 3.5 stars. This was quite entertaining. This is just a kind of modernized gothic story where we follow this woman called Eliza as she goes to this weird manor house to take care of some children, but everything is just a little bit off. This is like your traditional ghost story, so there isn't really anything surprising there. I think if anything, this book took too much inspiration from like gothic literature. The fear of the other, of foreigners, is very strong in this one, and there's also a very ableist perspective to this book. So yeah, I didn't really love that. I wish it would have taken kind of a new route, but can you really expect that from an Irishman? I don't know. So I did like this. It was entertaining. Wouldn't necessarily recommend it. I think that it had some creepy moments, but those were more like early on, and then we try to figure out what's actually going on and stuff like that. So I felt like the creepy also kind of decreased a little bit the longer our main character stayed in the house, just because we figured out what is going on, and then I just don't find things so creepy anymore. But yeah, it was fine. It was fine. Yesterday I then started a new book, and originally I had planned to start Mistborn, but those are very long books and I'm already reading Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell on audio, so I already am reading a very long book. So I decided to go with the library hold that came in, and I started reading Bookshops and Bonedust. So I'm very excited about this. I have been meaning to read this book for a while now, but as I have access to it through the library, I just didn't have it on a high priority, I guess. But this is the right time to read it. I definitely need the cozy right now, and it is working really well for me so far. I think I might be around 25% into it. I hope to increase this number today. If you don't know, this is the prequel to Legends and Lattes. We're following again our main character of Viv, who is an orc, and in this prequel we follow her basically as she has just signed up with her crew that she is leaving in Legends and Lattes. So she is fighting with them in a battle, but because she's still young and a little bit unexperienced and a little bit convinced that she is invincible, she gets injured quite badly. And so while the other people who are more experienced go to find the next battle, she's left in this small coastal town, and she is basically left there to heal up, and when her crew comes back through the town, they will pick her back up and then she can travel with them again. So this has a little bit of an odd setup for a romancy kind of cozy book, because we already know that this is just a little reprieve and that Viv will ultimately leave this town again. So it doesn't quite have that same vibe as the first book, where she is determined to change her life and to live a more cozy and quiet life. So we'll see, but so far I'm really enjoying it. She gets involved in this little bookstore in the town where there is basically no customers, and the owner of the bookstore is very worried that she will have to close soon because she doesn't make any money. And so Viv is starting to help out and also discovering reading, which is also really fun. And it also talks a lot about stereotypes when it comes to reading, because people are always very surprised to see Viv read a book, and they kind of make fun of her reading because she is such a big, strong orc woman, and they just don't expect her to read books. And yeah, I'm enjoying it so far, and I'll keep you updated on that one. With my audiobook, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, I'm also having a good time with this one. I'm now under 30 hours with that one, so we're making progress for sure. And yeah, so far it's very interesting. I think on Goodreads I said that it is the wildest book that is the most unassuming. The things that are happening are wild, but the way it is told is just like in this very like gentle, manly manner. So it's a very interesting experience. There is quite a lot of like stereotyping going on, as you would expect from the time period, so I'm not quite sure how I feel about that yet, but we'll see. Like, I have encountered the G word again in a couple of books recently, which I also I really don't like it, and yeah, we'll see, I'll keep you updated.
Okay, it is time for me being completely confused about books that came out this year, so let's check out the first round for the Goodreads Choice Awards. We're gonna start out with fiction, and I don't think I will have read any of these, so let's see. I've been really bad with fiction this year. Yep, no, I haven't read any of these. I think it is very interesting to see kind of like the cover trends though. Very colorful covers for this. I think that some of these I would definitely read. I just haven't. So I'm just gonna skip this one. Okay, historical fiction is gonna be exactly the same. I have been really interested in this one though, The Bullet Swallower. Okay, and this one's also on my TBR. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna skip this one too. No preference. Okay, Mystery and Thriller. This is hopeless. This is so hopeless. I don't read books. I really don't read books. Oh, I have read one. I have read this one, and I really liked it. Wow, we do have a vote. We have a vote. Okay. Yeah, it's literally the only one. So we're gonna vote for Home is Where the Bodies Are. It was a really fun thriller, not like my usual genre, so take it with a grain of salt, but I had a good time with this one. Okay, romance, probably never heard of these, or at least haven't read them. Oh, I have read Bride, but I felt like that was last year. Oh my god. Oh my god, okay. Now the question is, do I vote for it? Because I did have a good time. I still think that there's books on here that I might have an even better time with. So, nah, I don't think that Ellie Hazelwood needs my vote. So, I'm not going to do it. Okay, Romantasy. This is going to be interesting because I don't think I've read any of these. I would like to try this one. Would really like to try this one. And I hated this one. So we are going to vote for everything but this book. I think I'm going to vote for The Spell Shop here, even though I have a feeling that this is kind of wrong because I don't really think it's like fantasy, like, you know, like romantasy, but I'm going to vote for it. I'm sorry. Okay, so fantasy. This is the big one. I do have some books that I absolutely expect to see there, so okay, let's do it. Let's do fantasy. Ugh, okay. This book confuses me because I think it is very much romantasy, but it hides behind a cover that looks nothing like a romantasy. Obviously, we have The Familiar, which I did like, but will I vote for it? I don't know. This, I still haven't read it. You guys, I'm terrible. Okay. I have read this, but I didn't love it. This is the next book I will read, so I just have it checked out from the library right now. I don't know how I feel about this list. This I also still want to read, but I haven't. But yeah, this I want to read, so that might be nice. I don't know, this does not look like a fantasy list to me. Oh my god. I'm so sorry, but like really, is that it? Is that it? Okay. I did like The Familiar, but I'm pretty sure that I might like this even more. Pretty sure I will like this even more too. This is hard. This is hard. What do I vote for? I think I'm gonna vote for Kingfisher. Yeah, this is the one that I have the highest expectations for, honestly. Yeah, let's do this. I probably haven't read any of these science fiction books. I have not. I'm not surprised. This is obviously on my TBR. I just read the trilogy this year, so I do want to read the continuation before I forget everything. I have read really great things about Anibot, so that is definitely one I want to check out. I would love to read a James S.A. Corey book. And this is also on my list because I've read the first book. So yeah, there are some books I'm interested in, but none that I feel like very strongly about, so I'm just going to skip this one. Okay, let's see horror. I hope I have read some of that. Let me have read some of that. Okay. Interesting. Okay, this does look like a horror list at least, and I have only read one. This very high on my TBR. I'm so mad that I didn't get to this one. This looks really good too. I definitely want to read that trilogy, but I haven't yet. This is on my TBR. This is on my TBR. This is on my TBR. This one I just checked out from the library, but didn't get to it. Okay, so we're voting for T. Kingfisher again. Okay, debut novel. Let's see. Yeah, no, again, haven't read any of these. But I think just because it is the one that I feel like very excited about, I'm gonna vote for this one. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, now we have audiobook. That is new. Audiobook is new. Okay, I'm not quite sure what this what this category is trying to do. I haven't read any of these. No, I'm gonna skip it. Let's do YA fantasy. Okay, let's see. I have read at least one of these. Okay, I've read exactly one of these. Wow. Like this is on my TBR. 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 I'm so bad with reading new books. I always try, but I never succeed. Do I want to vote for Rebecca Ross? I mean, I did like the book, but does she need my vote? Probably not. I would much rather vote for like a different one, but I haven't read those yet. So I don't know if I would like them. No, no, Rebecca doesn't need my vote. She's gonna get enough. So, YA fiction. Probably have not read any of these. This, very high on my TBR. I might vote for this one. Okay, I have read this one. I have read it. I was a bit disappointed, but like Farida Abikei is really, really great author, so even being a bit disappointed with her is not a big deal. Okay, so do I vote for it? I guess I vote for it. It's like so hard because this was like a 5-star prediction and then it wasn't quite 5 stars, so yeah, let's vote for it. Let's vote for it. Non-fiction, I do not have any hopes that I have read this one. Okay, I haven't read any of these, but honestly, from the title, I'm gonna vote for the abortion book. That sounds like very, very important. Yeah, I haven't heard of any of these memoirs. Do not know any of these history books, and that is it. Okay, that was kind of underwhelming. Didn't we have like a YA debut category before? Or did I make that up? Okay, that's it for me.
So it's the 16th of November, and with that, I want to end the reading vlog for the first half of the month here. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I do have a final update, and that is that I finished reading Bookshops and Bonedust by Baldree, the prequel to Legends and Lattes. I really enjoyed this book. I think that the first book is still just a tiny little bit more magical to me personally, just because it introduced us to the world, but also because I felt like the characters were more unique in a way. I think that some of the like characteristics were kind of taken over into this prequel as well, so it wasn't quite as fresh, if you want to say like that. But yeah, I still really enjoyed it. I think it was the kind of book that I needed right now, so I'm very glad that I finally picked it up because it took me a while. But yeah, 4 stars it is. I think it is really lovely. I actually cried a little bit at the end because yeah, I could really see myself in Fern in a way. So what I really need now is another book, like a sequel, where we get a romance between Thimble and Fern. Like, it could just be a novella, but I need that. So please, Baldree, don't leave us hanging there. So yeah, that was my final book for this part of the month. I did start 2 new books that I will talk about more in the next part of the vlog. One of them is Equal Rites by Terry Pratchett. Very excited to read this. Not that far in yet, but because I couldn't really decide which book to start next, I also started another book, and that was Somewhere Beyond the Sea by T.J. Klune, the sequel to The House in the Cerulean Sea. So I will talk all about these 2 books and more in the next part of the vlog, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. I would love to have you here, and yeah, have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.